Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, shake and bake, Cal! Woo! Shake and bake!
Live from Joe's mom's basement, it's the Stacking Benjamin Show. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and on today's show... Wait, what? We're talking about that company. Does Joe know? Oh, he does. Oh, he took his meds. Okay, good. On today's show, we're tackling the Voldemort of brokerage companies, Robinhood. Oh, God, I said it out loud. What hidden fees and expenses are in your budget, in your life, or in your brokerage account? Our panel will dive in, featuring the woman who's so frugal she made a podcast about it with a friend, Jen Smith. Plus, the guy who says hidden fees are not the answer to your retirement. It's the retirement answer man himself, Roger Whitney. And the guy who pities the fool, who stands for hidden expenses, OG. Plus, these three will also throw down halfway through today's show during my epic trivia contest. And speaking of hidden, now a guy you gotta hide the donuts from. It's Joe Saul-Sehy.
Oh man, if there are donuts around and not those abomination cake donuts, we're all in trouble. Hey everybody, welcome to Carb Friday for the win. Cake donuts suck. It's just, I mean,
what do you need?
Gross.
Glazed? Are you a frosted guy? An eclair with the filling? What's your?
Well, yes.
He's foo-foo. Just give me the holes.
No, Roger, I don't like the foo-foo donut either. Give me a straightforward Dunkin' donut.
Cake donut.
You know,
like a cake donut with frosting on it?
Yes,
Boston cream
absolutely.
or nothing?
The
Okay.
Boston cream, Jen.
Okay,
That's
I'll take that.
exactly.
I'll take
That is the right answer.
Yes. Welcome to Jen Smith Rocks Podcast. I'm Joe Saul-Sehy, Average Joe Money on Twitter, and we got a great show today. As you can tell, we're not going to get off topic at all. We're going to have no squirrel moments about donuts.
So hungry.
Because I really don't want to talk about Robinhood. Robinhood in the news with some fees, but let's meet all of these people first. First, the guy across the card table from me, Mr. OG is here. OG, how are you, man?
What's up?
You know, just Robinhood, just feeling good because we get to talk about this moronic company that people continue to keep using for God knows what reason.
Because it's
can't
not,
figure
it's
it
the
out.
company you keep, like New York Life. The branding works.
Boy, it's Robinhood. They steal from the poor and line their pockets with that.
Line
money.
their pockets by the rich. Wait, what?
And the woman who is your frugal friend is here. I already introduced her once, but Jen Smith is with us. How are you?
I'm doing great. I've never used Robinhood, but I am excited to talk about it and pretend to be an expert.
Excellent. Well, we're not actually talking about Robinhood, as you know, Jen. You are an expert in today's topic, which is Jen don't pay no extra fees.
I love talking about hidden fees. I go deep in this one.
We are so excited about that. And the guy who goes deep on retirement, deep to the wall, Mr. Roger Whitney's here. How are you, buddy?
I don't even know what's going on, the news about Robinhood, so I'm excited to hear this.
Oh, this is brand new stuff, Roger. When I saw this, I'm like, really again? How can a company F it up this many times in a row? And people still get on me. they're like, well, Robinhood's a new company. They're not a new company. They've been around for, I think, how long, OG? Like 9 years now?
I was going to say 9 or 10 years, I think, yeah.
Yeah, they've been around for a long, long time. Well, they're a new company. No, they're not a new company. Well, they give you all this cash. Yeah, okay, but then they take it from you with all this stupidity. They get in trouble with the SEC with stuff that either they should know. Anyway, I'm ranting already about these guys. But Jen, how are things going on the Frugal Friends podcast? What's happening there?
It's great. We are doing a lot of episodes kind of around our new book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke.
Oh, you have a book coming out.
Scoreboard.
It's out in January. Yeah, it's all about how to align your spending with your values and get more of what you love without going broke.
I have a copy of Jen's book and I've been flipping through it, and this is going to be so fun. We're going to have Jen on early next year when it comes out. And you and I have another thing in common, besides the fact that we're both cool people and we like Boston cream donuts. We have the most awesome agent in the world for our books.
Heather is an angel, and she has helped us a lot through the publishing industry that is much, much different than podcasting.
So crazy,
or any
isn't
digital,
it?
Yeah, any digital industry. It's so different.
I'm surprised you have a smile on your face because I spent most of my time angry.
Laugh to keep from crying, right?
Yes. And Roger, what's happening over there at the Retirement Answer Man podcast lately?
Well, you'll be excited about this, Joe. This weekend is our roundup, our conference, our retirement conference.
I love your conference. This is so fun.
You keynoted it 2 years ago. We're in the same venue, and it's more than twice as big as when you were there.
Oh, it's such a great group of people.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Great group of people. These are all people that are in your Rock Retirement Club. And not only are they concerned about their retirement, Roger, they're just cool people.
This is like the opposite of Robinhood. If you get the right who you keep company with,
agreed.
These are the kind of people to keep company with, for sure.
Well, I feel lucky that I get to keep company with all of you today as we talk about Robinhood and fees. But before we get to that, we've got a couple sponsors that make this thing go so that none of our stackers have to pay for it. No hidden fees here. We're gonna make sure the bills get paid by these companies. So let's say hello to them and we'll be right back. In business, there is no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters. Every deadline counts. And when you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery. You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets. It all adds up to predictable deliveries you can depend on, because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else, your customers, your team, and the future you're building. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS Ground Advantage. We mean business. Dell PCs with Intel Inside are built for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. They're for those all-night study sessions, the moment you're working from a cafe and realize every outlet's taken, the times you're deep in your flow and can't be interrupted by an auto update. That's why Dell builds tech that adapts to you. Built with long-lasting batteries so you're not scrambling for an outlet, and built-in intelligence that makes updates around your schedule, not in the middle of it. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell PCs. Built for you. Jen Smith is here. Roger Whitney's here. OG's here. Doug's here. Let's get into this. Our headline today comes to us from the Wall Street Journal, and it is written by Alexander Osipovich. Alexander writes a shocker of a headline to me, a guy who's always loved Robinhood. Robinhood touts rock bottom fees for options trading. Then comes the hidden cost. So what they do when it comes to trading options, first of all, most of our stackers shouldn't be trading options. Let's start there. But just in another thing that Robinhood does well, they tell you that, hey, we're going to charge you next to nothing for your option trade. And then they make what's called the spread, the difference between what you pay and what the other person's gets almost 7% of what the transaction is overall. E-Trade is next when it comes to high fees. They're just below 6%. TD Ameritrade, that spread is at 4%. Schwab, 2.5%. Fidelity, about 1.6%. Vanguard, I don't know how this graph works because Vanguard loses money on every options trade apparently, but makes it up on volume. The Vanguard goes the other way.
God bless Vanguard.
OG, I want to start with you because options trading, bond trading, these are areas where companies can really hide fees. Can you talk about this thing that I'm talking about, the spread? How's Robinhood getting away with so much in hidden fees when it comes to options?
Well, it's not just options. It's really any sort of stock trading. There's going to be a little difference between what you see the price. So when you see the ticker price for Disney is $50, right? That's the middle price between what people are paying for it and what people are willing to sell it for. So if you own Disney, you might be willing to sell it for $50.01, but somebody wants to buy it for $49.99. So there's a little bit of a gap there. And then the market makers, or in some case technology, a lot of times technology, would actually just come in and say 50. And so if there's some manipulation that can happen there and give you a wider spread, and the market maker goes, well, we'll just say it's 50.5 and 49.5, and instead we'll make it 49.75. Somebody gets that 25 cents in this example. And it's probably not even 25 cents. It's probably like 0.00001 cent or some relatively insignificant number in the
haircut
in the dollar. To your point, they make it up on volume. And that happens a lot more with securities. That's called the bid-ask spread. Bid-ask spread. Let's be sure I got the K in there.
This became a different show in a hurry for a second there.
Enunciate today.
Jen's like, and I'm gone.
I did not hear. Yeah, not
you
when
didn't
I
hear
heard
the K.
First time.
Yeah,
nope.
Big
I
S
thought
spread.
that as I was like, that just came out really. I slurred the K at the end.
Well, and then you emphasized the ass, and so it just made it even more anatomical. It was awful.
Ask, spread.
Anyway, continue.
In securities where there's not a lot of volume, option trade is an example of this. There might be just 10 contracts traded a day on an option contract. That spread can get really abused because there's not a ton. Disney stock is trading, 1 billion shares every day. It's going to be a little harder to manipulate that because there's so much transaction volume. But in option trading, a lot of times there's not a lot of volume, which is why if you're going to do an option trade, you have to have a limit price. I know so many stories of people who just went, I just do a market order, on my trade like I do for a stock. And when you do that, you're basically saying, I'll take whatever the price is. Well, the market makers are like, well, how's $1.50? And, that can end badly.
Not surprisingly, options are a lucrative business for Robinhood. This piece states during the first half of the year, the company's revenue from options was $336 million, more than 1/4 of its total. Its financial filings show. By the way, this all stems from 3 professors who used their own money and carried out nearly 7,000 option trades at 6 brokerage platforms. They are professors at the University of California, Irvine, Washington University, and St. Louis. And when they published their study, by the way, not shockingly, Robinhood has disputed the findings of the study. Not a shock there either. I really did want to talk about Robinhood. I love leading it off with Robinhood because I still can't understand why people use this company. But Robinhood's not the only company with hidden fees. And then I thought about, as I was coming up with today's topic, I thought, hidden fees, these gotchas, not just in financial transactions, but in life transactions, just hit us all the time. And most of the time, we're blissfully unaware of it. In fact, there's a guy later on in this piece that said that he used Robinhood for all his options trades. Then he saw this and he said, I'm going to Fidelity. I'm moving because I never knew that I was paying this much. But not only hidden fees, there's also sometimes hidden costs where things look like they don't cost much money, but they end up costing you in other ways. And I'll give you an example that OG and Doug want to hear. And that is, I recently went to Peru and Chile.
Is there going to be a slideshow?
I have 85 slides to show you about my recent trip. But on one of the last days, after our wonderful trip by Adventures by Disney was done,
Scoreboard.
We booked one through Viator, this tour that was going to take us to a town on the seashore. The trip cost next to nothing, which should have been the first flag, because we get on this bus with a ton of other people. They take us halfway. It's about a 90-minute ride from Santiago to the coast. We stop for half an hour at what is a Buc-ee's. Jen, have you been to a Buc-ee's?
I have seen them, but I have not personally been in one.
It's like a gigantic. Roger, you've been to a Buc-ee's.
Oh, yeah. Great bathrooms.
Great bathrooms.
Yeah, Doug, have you been to one? I know OG's been to one.
I've never been inside one, but I love their products.
Yeah, for people that don't know Buc-ee's, it's
Beaver
like
nuggets.
It's a gas station the size of a Walmart, right?
Pretty much.
They've got
Seems like it, yeah.
Everything.
Are you missing a cowboy hat? You can get one. How about a bathing suit? Umbrella? Salted caramels?
There's a mandatory stop on this trip of half an hour to the Chilean version of Buc-ee's, where we just have to walk around inside. And I know the tour operator must be getting paid to make us just sit here. And we just walk around. Oh, so we ended up paying with our time because it was a, quote, low-cost tour, right? It was a, quote, great deal that ended up being not a phenomenal tour. It got better later, but that's an example. So I was hoping that you guys could bring some examples of either hidden cost like that or hidden fees that we should pay attention to. Jen, you're our guest of honor today. So why don't you go ahead and go first? What's a hidden cost or hidden fee that drives Jen Smith crazy?
So this is a topic that we talk about on Frugal Friends a lot because consumption is honestly all we talk about. In Frugality, we are kind of pigeonholed as the group of people or the niche of personal finance that wants the lowest price at any cost. And it's always a race to the bottom. We've spent 6 years trying to push back against that ideology when it comes to frugality by kind of stating some of these actual financial hidden costs. So it's, time costs with, saving money are obvious, but there are actual financial hidden costs. And there's other costs too. So we actually divide them between creation, consumption, and disposal. I could just start with like some of the costs associated with the creation of products that's fueled by overconsumption, and then maybe talk about the other two categories after everybody else gets a chance to talk. But you invited me here for a reason.
Literal show takeover. I love it.
Yeah. I was going to say, Roger, Jen was like, I'm glad we didn't have the slideshow of Santiago because I got my own slides.
Yeah. I got my own slide deck.
I'm going to go get a donut.
Cool. Okay.
Let's talk about some of these creation costs.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
So some of the non-financial that we may not think about, these non-visible costs associated with the production of items. It can be environmental pollution, which then translates to some financial costs to mitigate that. You've got depletion of natural resources, same story. You have social costs, such as forced labor and violation of workers' rights that's happening all across the globe. So you've got these hidden costs that aren't necessarily financial, but may have financial repercussions down the line. But then you have ones that are actually financial. So Change Inc. did a video on true price. And so they gave this example of how company A discharges waste into a river. And it's not a big deal. It's essentially allowed. But a town downstream depends on that river for drinking water. That town now needs to build a water treatment plant. And the cost of this is through taxation. And that's borne by the town's residents, when in fact it should have come from company A that's polluting the water in its creation of products. A lot of the hidden fees we see in consumption come through taxation. And you see that a lot in the disposal of items too.
That's interesting. I saw something while I was on my vacation. Did I tell you I went to Peru and to Chile?
I heard the grapevine.
But the amount of plastic that's just inside of all of us was a not unsubstantial number. Like we have a bunch of plastic that is now inside of us, which is crazy.
I was just going to talk about Doordash, but
yeah, that's
I have
right.
that on my list. I'll take that off. Great.
Well, let's go ahead and start there, OG. We were there a few weeks ago on the show, but Doordash is a hidden cost. How so?
I mean, I feel like I didn't prepare as much as Jen did because she has a much better slideshow than I do.
I didn't prepare. Yeah.
I literally wrote down Doordash on my sticky note.
This is just what I talk about every day.
She's like, what about the pollution? I'm like, well, yeah, I guess. I didn't. Boy, it's a little
slave
heavy.
labor, but Doordash.
I didn't really get
but
that
wait
one.
a minute, though. Doordash, though, isn't a hidden cost, though, OG. I mean, it's a cost.
Contraire, mon frere.
Oh, bring it.
Here's my hidden cost for DoorDash. Obviously, there's a explicit cost of the driver and a tip and the delivery fee and that sort of thing. But I think the thing that we forget is that quite often the item that you're buying is priced differently on DoorDash than it is priced retail or if you're there. So if you want to get a burrito bowl at Chipotle, it might, I don't even know how much they are, $12 maybe. But if you order on DoorDash, it just says it's 18. And so you just go, oh, you know, that's the price. You don't think of that as an extra cost associated with DoorDash. It does get out of hand when you order 5 of them for your family and you're like, wait, how did Chipotle cost me $200 all of a sudden? You kind of piece it together then. But in the moment, I think you look at it and you just go, oh, you know, we're ordering grilled chicken or we're ordering seafood or, you know, whatever. And a lot of times that price that's displayed for DoorDash is a different pricing system altogether from the restaurant or from whatever. Quite often you could just call the restaurant directly, get off your keister and go get your own DoorDash and save a bunch of money, still go out to eat, still effectively, you know, not cook and have it at home, but you have to go do the driving to get it.
Wow. I didn't know there was some difference. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
By the way, back on episode 1554, we had Bill Young, Doc G, and Paula talked about DoorDash. And another hidden cost is we used to ask our neighbors for help. We used to have tighter knit communities. And now we're like, well, I don't want to bother anybody. So I'm just going to have DoorDash, Uber would do, you know, all these different services pick me up. And Katie from Money with Katie did a wonderful piece that we talked about on this topic.
Did you used to ask your neighbors to go get you Pizza Hut for you? Like, is that how close-knit your community was?
That explains why Joe's moved a couple times in the last couple of years, doesn't it? Like, hey, could you go get me a pizza? I'm really hungry.
Well, can I share my lowest DoorDash moment? I was in an epic Call of Duty game with my kids because that's how we stay connected. And I finished the bottle of wine. And so literally DoorDashed just a bottle of wine to my house.
Well, that's a safety thing. You shouldn't drive to go get wine.
That was a safety thing. Thank you, Joe. I feel
Especially
better
after you just finished one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a good use.
That's the perfect case use of DoorDash.
I feel much better about myself now.
I thought you were going to say I ran out of batteries in my Xbox controller, so somebody had to deliver me 2 AA's ASAP.
And it was $25.
It was It was $27 after your tip. Yeah.
But the wine, much more worth it.
Absolutely.
Much more worth it.
I feel better about myself. Okay.
Yeah, let's be clear. Yeah, the hidden cost, the trips to AA, Roger, after too many of those moments. Yeah, Roger, while we're on you, let's keep going.
Well, I actually feel ready for Jen's conversation because I just finished one of Wendell Berry's books, which is right along the lines of what you're talking about in terms of environmentalism. And also you, what's your name, Joe? About community. Wendell Berry, talks a lot about losing community. When I think of hidden fees and costs, I think more of time than money. We live in an information economy, right? We know that. The internet is almost unusable because every single place that we go on the internet, with a few exceptions, are trying to sell us something. And it's the beginning of a cycle of transactions that essentially dominates our lives and doesn't allow us to live a real life. And I think that, to me, those are the big hidden fees, is our time. And we have all information is designed to sell you. You have email opt-ins, you have email chains, you have things behind paywall. The algorithms suck you into the next video that literally rob your life. So those are the kind of costs.
The kids call this brain rot.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. This is the Matrix.
That's the phrase that the kids use.
Yeah.
You just sit there and like doom scroll on YouTube Shorts forever. And it's like, the kids, they'll come down and they'll be like, oh, Caroline has brain rot. Because she's just like,
that's usually a pairing that I have with my wine.
Brain rot.
But I do try to avoid it.
I prefer bed rot. Bed rot is another popular pastime.
Oh, God.
Just staying in bed?
Yes. Well, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just hanging out, sleeping more? I'm on that train.
Mm-hmm.
That's, yes, absolutely, 100%. But, brain rot, though, that's not new, OG. I mean, I remember, like, my grandma, even Doug, remember that'll rot your brain? Stop watching that. You'll rot your brain.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm sitting there watching MTV in the 80s. That'll rot your brain.
Oh, I got that when I was watching PBS when I was a kid.
PBS will rot your brain.
Wayne Dyer.
National Geographic specials.
My parents were conservative.
Yeah.
But this is on hyperspeed.
Yeah.
And with AI coming, it's going to exponentially get worse. Where I think the internet's going to be unusable for safe information without some commerce reason behind it.
I feel like the tech companies, to your point, Roger, have decided that we can't be bored. We need something to fill every moment. We're happy to with our brains to I mean, look, just go on Netflix and see how could you remember back in the pandemic, those memes where somebody said, I finished Netflix. Like I watched all of it. That is impossible. It just isn't. There's too many channels. There's too much stuff.
Every day, more user content is created on YouTube than is all of recorded television history.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
And they're all designed to keep us watching. Michael East had a great book, The Scarcity Loop. I mean, it's scientifically designed to manipulate us.
Absolutely.
And we're all in it at some level. I think that's a huge hidden cost.
Not that this is a negative cost, but it's a different cost. You're talking about community. The school that my kids go to this year said no exceptions, never, 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 from the time the bell rings until the time the bell rings again, no cell phones, period. And the first 2 weeks were like, what? The parents were like, are you kidding? What if I need to get in touch with my kid? And the kids were like, this is awful. What are we going to do? I have to talk to people. And then in week 3, it's kind of calmed down a little bit. I've been off of social for almost 3 years now, except Reddit, which I've added, but I haven't done Instagram or Facebook or Twitter in almost 3 years. And I don't, it took quite a while to kind of get used to it, but a positive cost, I guess, of having this is that the teachers reported after 3 weeks of school, they go, you know what? It used to be the classes let out and it was quiet. You could hear like the shoes squeaking as the kids were going from class to class. And now it's so loud, you can't hear anything because all the kids are talking. They actually have to have conversations with one another because they can't have their heads down and playing on their phones while they go to the next class. I think that's a great thing. It's not a cost in a negative sense, but it's, but there was a bunch of controversy, kind of what you were talking about, Roger, early about technology, like you're taking it away and what are we going to do? And all this negative connotation. And now I haven't heard my kids talk about it in weeks, now that they're 6 weeks into school.
When we think about consumption, and Jen, I bet you know this from your research, I could probably spend thousands of dollars sitting here talking to you. The ability to purchase things so quickly is a fee that just, there's no friction there.
Yeah, frictionless payment is a very profitable fintech niche. We see that a lot. People want you to impulse spend, and their sole job with their software product is to make it easier to spend without thinking.
Yeah. Do you know a good example of that? A very good example of that, Jen, is when, let's say, a hypothetical podcast forgets a sponsor spot, and they are reminded partway through the segment that this episode's brought to you by State Farm, just hypothetically. In the market for small business insurance, State Farm knows your business is your life. State Farm agents are small business owners too, so they know what it takes. They can help you create a personalized insurance plan that fits your small business needs and budget. Small business insurance from State Farm, like a good neighbor. State Farm is there. We should have all sung that together.
Oh, let's do
State
it.
Farm is there.
I use State Farm.
We'll talk to your local agent today. I was supposed to do that at the top, but I'm rusty because I don't know if you guys know this, but I just got back from Peru and Chile. It was a great trip.
Can you repeat the part of the stuff where you said all about the things?
Yeah, maybe. Jen, let's talk about specific ones. I like this Doordash one that OG brought up. I didn't know there were 2 different prices. That drives me crazy. Any specific product thing, financial or otherwise, where we're maybe paying a hidden fee?
Yeah, well, Instacart will do the same thing on groceries if you use it. The grocery store will increase the price if you're purchasing through Instacart.
Instacart doesn't. That's interesting because I thought DoorDash was raising the price. You're saying the institution has a 2-tier thing.
Instacart, it's anytime you're using a third party, it costs the business a lot more to use that. So they'll kind of compensate by just, adding. Uber, even for a year, added a fuel surcharge to passengers when fuel prices were really high. So that was another fee that you couldn't get around if you wanted to take an Uber.
I do remember that. And I also seem to remember that they left that fee on there much longer than people expected. And finally, they had to have a bunch of people pointed out on social media that, hey, what's this fuel surcharge still doing here?
Yeah. Another specific one is on disposal. So the garbage industry, so like stocks like waste management and stuff, have outperformed. And this was an article from 2021, but from what I've seen, it's still applicable. The garbage industry has outperformed the market since 2015. People are throwing away more. So as we consume more, we throw away more. And that cost is seen through your utility. You have a extra, in addition to water, you also pay for trash disposal. And that's because your city or county has to pay a tipping fee for every ton of waste they put onto the landfill, because those are typically privately owned. They have to pay. And that charge used to be like $8 a ton, and now it's, I think, like 30 something.
Wow.
And the average American will throw about 1,600 to 1,700 pounds per person.
God, I wish.
And that's the main way that landfills make their revenue, but we're paying for that in our utility bill, and we have no choice but to pay it. So the more we consume, everything you consume ends up in a landfill. It might make a pit stop at a thrift store, might make a pit stop at a recycling plant, but a very small portion of things that are recycled actually move on to be usable again. It might make pit stops, but ultimately ends up in the landfill, and we pay for that.
I saw our friend Sean Mullaney make that point at a Camp Fi Southwest a few years ago. He was talking about shopping gets a lot less fun when you walk into a Target and you realize that even if people are careful with all the stuff, if you're careful with it, if you keep it, if you're good to it, every single thing in this store at some point is going to end up in the landfill. And then you look at the number of stores out there and you're like, oh my God, there's a ton.
Well, and another hidden fee to that is sort of a second or third order consequence is the idea of low prices. A friend of mine has a mantra: buy once, cry once. If you buy something that is quality, that will last, is as durable, you may avoid buying 3 different things just because they were cheap.
Yeah.
Everybody wants cheap, but they forget, or they don't notice the cost that it's going to break or it's not going to be adequate. So they're afraid to buy quality because they're so focused on the price that they end up buying more.
Doug?
Yeah. Something about what you just said, Roger, made me think about a lot of, I'll say, lower quality furniture stores. That's what came to my mind for some reason when you said that. They'll have these no interest payments until 2028 if you buy this couch right now. What I think a lot of people don't realize is that the interest on that loan is accruing the entire time for that whole period that they state. And if you don't pay that sofa off in its entirety within a minute of that contract expiring, all of that accrued interest shows up the next day. And a lot of times that can be up to half the cost of what you thought you paid for the sofa. So that's a potential hidden fee that it feels like, hey, I'll let somebody else finance this for $0. Of course.
This is other people's money.
Right. Man, I'm supposed to do that. The guys in Stacking Benjamins told me to use other people's money. But if you don't have the discipline to make those payments regularly, then you could be scrod pretty hard if you don't pay it off.
Yeah, with like an ass spread, a big
ass spread. Yeah.
I knew that was going to come back.
Ask. It was right there. I think on that gross note,
I didn't know that that you didn't get the bid part either. You guys heard big and ass.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh my.
Well, it was coming from you, Josh. It was coming from you. So
that was. I gotta really work on my radio voice, because that makes it even worse. I didn't put those things together.
It was spectacular.
It was so true, though. I didn't bat an eye because I was like, yeah, you're right.
Hey, there's a big ass spread. You never know.
This whole website's dedicated to that.
All right, we're going to let our audience go wash while we take a break here, like we do in the middle of every Friday, for our year-long trivia competition. And normally this is Mom, OG, and Paula. And we will, Jen, as I mentioned, you're the guest of honor. So would you rather play for Mom or for Paula?
I feel like last time I came on, I was playing for Paula. So maybe I'll play for Mom.
Well, Roger, that means to you, being our other guest of honor, good news, bad news for you playing for Paula. Do you want the good news or the bad news?
Well, I suck at this game every time I'm on, so I feel bad for Paula.
Same. That's why I chose Mom. I was like, I can't do that to Paula again.
Paula, don't be mad at me.
Well, the good news is, Roger, there's no reason to feel bad for Paula because she does pretty crappy on her own at this game. She has 8 points so far this year. Jen, Mom has 10 points. OG at 15, getting pretty close with just 3 months to go to wrapping this thing up early. So, Jen, no pressure, but you got to help Mom close that gap.
I know. Mom's got to stick together.
And Roger, if Paula's going to make a move, it's up to you, big guy. And the other good news for you, Roger, you get to go last because Paula's in last. You get to guess last. So you get to hear Jen in the middle, and OG is going to guess first. But that means we need a question. And Doug, what's our question today?
Hey there, stackers. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and today's a big day in Benjamin stacking history. An actor who stacked lots of Benjamins, Charlton Heston, was born on this day way back in 1923. He famously starred in a film called Planet of the Apes, which, you're not going to believe this, was about a guy who rocketed to a planet where, and I know this is going to shock you, there were, of all things, apes.
Wow.
Speaking of rockets, today is also the day Sputnik made it into orbit back in 1957. That's right, just like NASCAR, all these years later, they just piloted this thing in circles around the Earth over and over again. Everybody was just watching to see if it crashed. But because we don't do Russian trivia here, sorry, Vladimir, let's give you this one. Back in 1957, what was the NASA budget in 1957 dollars? I'll be back right after I go sign up for space camp. Man, I loved that as a kid.
Well, Doug may come back a little disappointed when he finds out space camp might not allow him to go. But OG, you're going to be first. 1957, the budget in 1957 dollars. What was NASA's budget?
So this was before Kennedy, and Kennedy's big thing was, we got to get to the moon by the end of the decade. That was his anchor that he put there. There was a lot of Cold War stuff going on, but 57, I think we were embarrassed by the fact that the Russians were in space before us. I think that was the kickoff to this of like, oh crap, we got to kind of get after it. So this is the annual budget for NASA, the line item on
annual budget
on the
1957 only
in the Treasury.
Pre-Sputnik or post-Sputnik?
This is the same year.
1957. Good Lord. So what do we have? 100 trillion in debt right now. So
this is like your slideshow.
$1957 divide by 55.
Oh my God.
Carry the one.
Like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like,
yeah. Seen Limitless, where the guy's got all the numbers. Like that's like what's going on.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what's going on in your head right now. 100% sure.
I'm going to say that the budget for
Don't
NASA.
worry, our listeners love this part.
In 1957 was a mere $7,495,398.
Oh my God, really?
This is my way to make it so Doug doesn't have to. Doug just goes, and OG wins.
wow.
What do you think, Jen? 7.5 million, roughly.
I'm going to go 12 million.
You're not going to take 5 hours to give us the reason why?
I, in my head, originally thought 57 million, and then OG's guess was so low that I was like, okay, I'll just do $1 million a month.
Just a cool $1 million a month,
Pocket change to a gal like you.
Yeah.
Duh.
I feel like that's reasonable.
If you started with 57 million, then NASA was pretty damn frugal at 12 million, right? The frugal friend would go.
I remember it being a pretty low budget, like from what I learned about history. Like it was pretty frugal. Yeah.
Watching Tom Hanks with the duct tape and in the Apollo 13 movie.
Yeah, I assume that's what it was like.
Yeah. Well, Roger, what are you thinking? You got 7.5-ish, and you've given me, OG, I'm not going to say all those numbers. 7.5 million. Jen's got 12 million. What do you think?
I was at 58 originally, Jen, so we were pretty close together. But I'm just going to have to, I'm going to do the Price is Right strategy. I'm just going to have to go one set higher.
One set higher than Jen?
Than Jen.
12 million and 1 penny. There we go. Well, is Roger right
Jen.
to take the upside? By the way, Paula Pant, her gut feeling is almost always wrong.
I can tell Doug's doing the math. Doug's like got the abacus out. Like he's like.
I think an abacus has one.
Roger's got 12 million and a penny. I love the sound effects. Jen is 12 million. OG at 7,495,398. Who's right? We'll be right back.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
Did you know Fast Growing Trees is America's largest and most trusted online nursery with thousands of trees and plants and over 2 million happy customers? Whether you're planting fruit trees, adding privacy, brightening things up with flowers, or bringing in houseplants, Fast Growing Trees has it all. Even better, they can help you find options that are right for your climate, your space, and lifestyle. Click Order Grow. Every plant arrives healthy with the Alive and Thrive guarantee, straight to your door. So if you're ready to get planting, this is the moment. Right now, they have great deals on spring planting essentials, up to half off on select plants. And listeners to our show get 20% off their first purchase when using the code WWO at checkout. That's an additional 20% off. Better plants and better growing at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code WWO at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code WWO. Now's the perfect time to plant. Let's grow together. Use WWO to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply. Go to growingfasttrees.com for details.
OG, you anchored everybody who was thinking 58 million. They came way down after you said 7,495,398. How do you feel about that number? Because they still think that you're low.
Yeah, I mean, I have absolutely no effing clue, but I feel like there could be some chicanery going on here of like, there was no NASA in 1957. It didn't start until Sputnik. And
it's zero.
And we didn't kick it off until they, so they only
like that.
That's
I think
smart.
there is precedent, Doug. We have done that before. We've played that game. Jen, I guess the good news, since Roger took the upside, is you still got between $10 and $12 million.
Okay. Anytime anybody says that to me, I'll take it.
And you still got between 10 and 12.
Yeah, didn't really work out, but you got between 10 and 12 million. So
I'm not too good for that.
I mean, Jen, from one author to another, you do have that big book deal money. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah. I'm rolling in it. I got LASIK with my first advance. That's about all that paid for. I was like, I'm going to need eyes to write this book.
It's exciting. Roger, with your book.
Joe's like, you got an advance?
Yeah, what? A what? You got what?
What's an advance?
I know.
You got money for your book?
You guys are getting paid?
I got Boston cream donuts.
I got those too.
Roger, with your book, all that book money. I mean, rolling in it.
I am. That's why, yeah.
Yeah, 12 million and 1 penny. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
He's got all the upside.
Other than this little hiccup thing about it might not have been established. That scares me a little bit.
Ooh. Plot thickens.
Well, let's see. Doug, were you playing around? Who's going to win this thing?
Hey there, stackers. I'm Trivia Rocket Driver and the guy who's always ready for re-entry, Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. I don't know what that means, but it sounded funny, so I went with it. Here was today's totally Sputnik-denying trivia. What was U.S. space program's NASA's budget way back in 1957 in 1957 dollars? Well, sure, NASA didn't exist, but the NACA sure did. That was the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, which was the predecessor to NASA, and they sure as hell had a budget, OG. The answer? Well, I can't tell you that just now. It would have been $940 million in today's dollars, but I will tell you that back in 1957, OG was off by just $81,505,000 and some change. Jen/Mom was off by $77 million, and Roger and Paula, well, they were off by $76,999,999.99 because the real answer is a cool $89 million in 1957, making Roger and Paula our winners. And now back to our hidden fee discussion.
They like me. They really like me. I get your point, Josh.
Point of note, did I not hear you say that NASA was not in existence in 1957?
There was a space agency.
Thus, they had no budget? How am I
rebranded.
wrong?
Same company, but rebrand.
Yeah.
No.
Just a rebranding. You know
that
all
was
about
same company, same people.
I need a stacker
Yeah,
judge
it's just
renewal.
a rebranding. You know about rebranding.
We need to...
Paula / Roger wins. And the good news for you, Jen, is that since you said 57 million and Roger said he was thinking 58, he would have gone $1 higher anyway.
I need some stacker love here on some judges need to review this ruling. I think the officials got this one wrong.
Do you demand a recount?
Too soon.
Said the Florida woman.
You know, the S&P index was not 500 stocks before 1959, so we still call it the S&P. So
Thank you,
similar.
Roger.
Rebrand.
And OG, it's not like, I mean, Paula would have to win every single trivia from now till the end of the year to even threaten your current lead. So just chill the F out.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom.
Hey, let's bury that discussion and get back to our scintillating discussion about hidden cost, hidden fees. And let's go. Roger, give me one that's just more straightforward financial stuff. What's a financial product where we really need to watch out for the hidden fees?
A financial product. Oh, by far indexed universal life insurance or annuities, any insurance product.
Those are so great, Roger, for me to sell to you.
With all the guarantees and you can't lose money and they're better than 401ks. There are so many hidden fees that cause the result not to come out the way that you think it is.
Do you know what's funny for me, Roger, is that while I totally agree with you, the biggest gotcha of all in those products are the you can't get out fee. The fee
the back end, yes.
Yeah, the fee they don't slap on you. They have all these fees internally, so they're going to be a leech on your financial statement. But if you try to get out, the fees are even worse, which means you'd rather let the leeches just feed off you for a while.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I was including that in there as well. It's just put money into a product that's going to grab it. You know, a million different hands are going to go into it.
Yeah. OG, a financial product?
You know, not necessarily a financial product, but kind of. We talked about this last week or earlier this week, depending on banking, right? We talked about how interest rates change and how they will adjust not in your favor. You know how like you play Monopoly and it says bank error in your favor, collect $200. That doesn't happen in real life. A couple of weeks ago, interest rates went down 0.5%. Yay. If you're borrowing money, boo. If you have money. But immediately the next day we got all the emails going, hey, so 0.5% lower. Okay. That checks. However,
we're going to lower the returns on your savings account.
I mean, hey, we all should have 0.5 point lower. Everybody got that. Well, but wait a second. Does that mean all of my borrowing also went down 0.5%? Oh no, we'll do that sometime when people complain. Like you were talking about the Uber thing, right? I thought about that immediately. It's like, well, they're going to keep the borrowing costs as high as they can and lower the giving costs very quickly. And then just say, oh, yeah, I guess we could adjust this a little bit. You know, and all of a sudden, you know, that spread, that difference between what we were borrowing, the cost of borrowing and the cost of saving, it got wider, and that cost is entirely borne by the consumer. If you're borrowing money, obviously, if you're not borrowing money, this doesn't affect you as much. But that's a sneaky thing. I think everybody thinks, hey, interest rates went down 0.5%. My credit card interest is down 0.5%. It's like, no, not until enough people complain to Amex. Then they'll lower 0.5%. So
yeah,
kind of.
And if you try to refinance to lower your interest, they're going to charge you a fee to refinance.
Yeah.
So that diminishes your savings.
Or they say, well, I know that the Fed went down, but see, our rates are not tied to that. We use this other thing that isn't that. So it went down, but only by 0.25 point. You're like, what the F?
Well, what about title insurance? Just a random thought.
There we go.
Title insurance as a percentage of the property.
You need to insure your title, don't you, Roger?
For not 1%, not 1%.
But the insurance, title. You need to insure it. From all the people who are trying to steal your Title.
I used to love to steal a title back in college.
It was awesome.
so
We'd go
fun.
out on a Friday night and be like, yo, this is what we're going to do.
Right. I'd steal the title, call myself doctor from time to time. Is that what we're talking about? No,
Stole those
maybe
too.
something else. You brought up a good one though, Jen. The number of hidden fees that can exist in a mortgage refinance or just getting a mortgage can be massive.
Yeah, it's sickening. Like even I was buying a car a few years ago, and from dealership to dealership, there were so many hidden fees that
Doc
didn't
fee,
have
title
that
recording
didn't have
fee.
definitions that everyone could even agree on. I had like the same minivan at two different dealerships. One had higher mileage and had but leather seats, adaptive cruise control, and the other one had lower mileage, but it was more base. So same price. At one dealership, it was $4,000 more expensive because of fees. And then at the other dealership, it was just the price that was advertised. So really where you purchase a car even makes a big difference in how much
you got the
you'll
one
pay.
with more bass though, right? Because that's sweet when you're rolling down the highway and you got more bass and it's just like the other cars are vibrating.
Yeah. Cloth seats, big bass.
Yeah.
Deaf children, not born that way.
Is that the same as bid ask?
The bid ask spread between these two minivans was large.
It was a bid ask spread between the prices of those vans. Well, yeah. Well, and that is interesting. Getting a car. I mean, I was just trying to play, and it's not going to come up. I can't find it, but from the classic movie Fargo, right? You got to get the Scotch Guard, like all the fees, or the people. I remember going into a dealer when I bought this really inexpensive car, and I wanted to pay cash. I think the car was going to be $6,000. It was sitting out on this used lot. They were infuriated. They were like, no, you gotta finance it.
Yeah.
Because as we've talked about before, you guys know they're not going to make any money on the car. They're making the money on their deal with the financing.
The last time we went to buy a car, we bought a minivan on New Year's Eve. That's a great time to what else is there to do? Let's go shop for a minivan,
Nothing.
sweetheart. Ooh. The guy's like, all right, cool. So we just need your social and we can get the paperwork going. I'm like, you don't need my social to buy a car. He's like, yeah, we do. I'm like, no, you don't. He's like, yeah, it's a company policy. I'm like, I don't give a crap about your company policy. You don't need a social security number to buy a car. I have a big bag of money and I'm going to give it to you. And then you're going to give me the keys to the car. This is how this is all going to work. It was all back and forth about why are you not financing this? That's where we got to, right? It was like, well, we want to run your credit so that we can wine you and dine you about the big ass spread about the
Oh no.
This is going to be great.
Oh no.
I can't wait for the show to come out.
Oh no.
Yeah, I actually did finance this van. So I've bought a car in cash at a dealership and I financed, and
Double dipped. I like it. Baller move.
I know I'd like to try everything. This time I financed and I negotiated down so much, but still, even after a couple hours of negotiating at the more expensive dealership, I just could not. I almost said yes just because I'd spent so much time there. So there was a time cost, that.
It's also part of the sales process.
Mm-hmm.
Wear you down.
Uh-huh.
Even if you pay cash, you can't get out out of there quick.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. So the experience was the same. There was no advantage either way, but I had to just take it. It was actually easier to get out of there when I financed than it was to pay cash.
Wow.
Honestly. But it was.
That says a lot.
Right. I had to pick myself up and leave this dealership after so much sunk time in order to choose the one that had the transparent pricing, which I thought was a gimmick. Honestly, they say it in the advertising, but it wasn't. It was actually transparent pricing.
In a past episode, Len Penzo brought up a good cost. When you talk about negotiating, Jen, he was talking about negotiating not with car dealers, but with construction people working on your house, like handymen. He had a handyman that was going to do a job for him, and he just beat the guy up and beat him up and beat him up and beat him up. And finally the guy said, oh yeah, I will do that for this low cost. He goes, it was the shoddiest work. The guy didn't want to come out and fix it. he said, that's when I realized that low-cost provider not always going to be, and you brought this up earlier, Jen, that being frugal does not mean being cheap, right? You can't shrink your way to greatness.
Yeah, absolutely. We've just finished up a 2-year renovation on a fixer-upper that we bought, and we had the really low cost. Unfortunately, that was all we could find. We didn't want to take the lowest cost, but we literally had to take what we could get. And then compared to once we fired him, the people that cost more, and the work was night and day different, and it was worth paying not the highest price, because we had somebody come out that wanted to put a plastic tub in and charges $15,000, right? So we didn't go with them, the franchise, but looking around and taking the next affordable, not the cheapest, but the second or third least expensive option. And we got those two guys from referrals from real estate investors. So it's right.
Wow.
It's really, in the Tampa Bay area, it's really take what you can get out here right now. So,
Wow. Roger, let's go back to financial products for a second. Did any of you guys know if Primerica is still a thing?
I don't know. Are they?
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Doug says yes.
Primerica is still, Jen, do you know what Primerica is?
no.
Roger, you know Primerica, right? So Roger, with Primerica, you will get a free financial plan. And Primerica is not the only one, but Primerica being multi-level marketing. So Jen, this combines multi-level marketing.
I have heard of it.
With financial planning.
With
Okay.
life insurance.
It's great.
Not financial
Oh,
planning.
yeah.
Let's be clear.
Yeah, Roger, what happens when you buy a free financial plan through Primerica?
You're going to get sold a product of some sort. That's the hidden cost of financial planning. Well, it's everything. You get what you pay for, right? And in financial services, especially, the industry is always trying to figure out, how do we serve the masses? Unfortunately, this is the way that you serve the masses, because the engine is the sale of financial product. And so that's how we get Primerica, to serve the masses, to get rid of that incentive. It's going to be coaches. It's not going to be the industry that solves it. It's going to be financial coaches that are outside the industry, because of all these hidden costs of just junk that they get sold in order to get that free plan.
Yeah.
And you know what's worse is that financial plan, so much of it is still done face to face, whereas in traditional MLMs, you buy most of your products online. So it's weird, like network marketing for makeup and shampoo and all that is weird now. But face-to-face financial planning is not weird, even though you can do so much of it online. So you can still have these financial product MLMs because it's not weird, and people are more easily tricked into them.
Because they're sitting down at a table with this very nice person. I remember somebody telling me way back when I was a financial planner, they're going to do it for free. I'm like, nobody does anything for free. Why do you think they're doing it for free? They're like, oh, because they're really nice. They were so nice. I'm like, well, yeah, they're nice, but they still have to get paid. They still have to eat. Like, if you don't know how somebody gets paid, you need to do more research. Speaking of MLMs, this just gets down to entrepreneurship in general. I'm not as anti-MLM as I see some people are online. It's just a way of distribution, right? It's just another distribution channel. But my general rule is, when there's a low barrier of entry, you're going to pay huge time costs to get ahead. And there's going to be a lot of people lying about the products, right? They're going to be lying about the sales. So when you've got some MLM, low barrier to entry, lots of people can sell it, lots of people compete against each other to sell it. They're not even going to sell the product. They're going to sell you on having to do nothing because of the fact that it's low barrier to entry. When you go try to buy a McDonald's, much higher barrier of entry, it's going to cost you a ton of money, and you're going to get rid of a lot of the competition. People are going to see the arches. They're either going to come or they're not going to come. Roger?
I think this structure ports over to the internet and content marketing.
Oh, good point.
It is, you are the product, whether it's Facebook, but you're also the product for financial information. Click on my email list, and then upsell to the course, then upsell to the club, and then upsell. That is the business model of it. And there's always going to be conflicts of interest, even with the Primerica guy. But there probably are really amazing Primerica guys and gals that are trying to do the right thing, that disclose and are more transparent about it. So as an example, circle back to Robinhood. the fact that Robinhood makes money on the spread isn't as much of the issue as how they try to obscure that and say they don't. If I do option trades at Fidelity, they're making money on the spread too, because the bid offer spread is everywhere. It's not just exclusive to Robinhood. It's more of how they're managing the conflict. And some people are more open about it than others.
I like how finally we get to the end of the episode. Somebody has the wherewithal to change the word to offer instead of ask. Should have done that earlier.
Not cool, Roger. Not cool.
Should have done that earlier. I think it's a great place to leave it. Thank you so much for a great conversation. Jen, I liked how early on you widened it up too. There's lots of ways that we pay. We pay in our taxes. We pay in consumption. We pay in so many different ways, not just in the straightforward gotchas that we think we have. Doug, you remember the Jim Gaffigan bit about how even water's not free?
That's how they get you.
Yeah. Yeah. When you make the ice, you got to buy that plastic tray. That's where they get you. They get you on the tray. They give you the water for free, but then they get you. So fun. Speaking of fun, let's find out what's going on in all of your fun lives. OG, first weekend in October. What are you doing this weekend?
Oh, I have a very exciting trip to Midland, Texas, and I'm going to hang out there for a couple of days and then come home next week. And next week I play in a golf tournament. So that's really the more fun, exciting thing. I do my trip and then come back and play some golf for a few days.
Midland, Texas reminds me of that Dave Attell joke about Dayton, Ohio. Doug, you know which joke I'm talking about?
I don't know that one because I only listen to clean comics, Joe.
Yeah, right. Right. Look at your nose come out. I recall you and I listening to Dave Attell together, but
He's
anyway.
naughty.
Yes. Dave Attell says, you know what's fun to do in Dayton, Ohio? Get the out.
Wow.
That's what's fun.
Midland is a much nicer town than that. I will admit.
He bleeped it out, but that sounds like fun. What's happening? Let's talk to our guests. We'll have Jen gets to go last. Roger, what's happening at the Retirement Answer Man this weekend?
Yeah, this month on the show, we are exploring how to think and great mental models to improve your decision-making. When it comes to any kind of financial planning, there's plenty of information on what to think about and all the technical aspects of thinking about it, but nobody really focuses on how do you think about things in an organized way to get to better decisions.
You gave a wonderful presentation on this topic at Camp Fi a year ago when we were together.
I think how you think about things is where it's at. The process you use to get to, because almost every decision is not black or white. It's a judgment call. And so it's really important that you do it in an organized way. Yeah. Still on that topic.
It's funny going through that just in high school. I remember a great mentor teacher I had talking about everything. To your point, Roger, is a judgment call. Your goal is not to get 100% evidence, but to get that evidence as close as possible so the leap is not very far. Build a case, build a case, build a case, build a case.
And there's little mind tricks you can use, like as an example, the perennial question of what is the meaning of life, right? If you understand some mental models, you can reframe that question of, well, how do I live a meaningful life is probably a little bit more productive.
I don't think anybody who heard this show, speaking of mental model, is going to ever forget what the bid-ask spread is. I think everybody's going to remember that for the rest of time. Jen, thanks for hanging out with us again. I know it's about to get busy for you. What's happening right now at Frugal Friends?
Yeah, so we are doing a lot of interviews and promotion of our new book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke. And that's at buywhatyoulovebook.com. And that doesn't come out till January 7th. But after you pre-order it, in the meantime, we've got some really great episodes. We've got one that just came out, How to Vote with Your Dollar, with Gigi Gimja, and talking about kind of setting our minds back to a steady ground in this upcoming season, and how we interact with our money is really as impactful as how we vote. And we got one coming up on how influencers are lying to you about their lifestyle and how it's costing you.
What?
No way.
Love that one.
Say it ain't so.
I love that one too. I think of some very specific influencers when you say that. But that is at the Frugal Friends podcast, where finer podcasts are distributed.
Anywhere you're listening to this podcast, I know you'll be able to find the Frugal Friends podcast.
Absolutely. Pause right now, subscribe or follow Frugal Friends and the Retirement Answer Man, and wish OG much hope and love as he heads to Midland, Texas. I don't know. I'm just making it up.
Thoughts and prayers.
Yes, that's good. That's because Midland, Texas is a great place. And Midland, I was just
really
kidding.
Cool. Midland, Texas.
Dayton, that wasn't my joke.
Dayton does
that was
suck.
David Tell's. It was David Tell's joke.
Dayton
I love
sucks.
you too, Dayton.
Midland, Texas is awesome.
Oh my God. Doug, get me out of this. What should be on our to-do list today, Doug?
Well, Joe, let me help you out here. First, take some free, no hidden fee advice from Jen. Remember when she said well, Jen, you just tell us.
There are hidden fees associated with everything to consume, and really the only way to avoid these hidden costs is to make sure we are matching our consumption with only what we value, not what other people are telling us to value.
And second, don't forget when Roger totally blew your mind when he said,
buy once, cry once. That's going to allow you to buy gear for doing something really cool rather than just accumulating stuff. You're going to end up helping your house. You're going to have less stuff. You're going to end up helping the environment and the world.
But the big lesson? Don't try to get Joe's mom to watch Planet of the Apes. She says that movie's just a bunch of monkey business. Okay. Thanks to Jen Smith for joining us today. She's got a new book coming out early next year, and believe it or not, are you sitting down for this? You can pre-order it. Hey, Jen, couple of questions for you. What's it called? How do you pre-order it? And what's the 14th word on page 110?
It's called Buy What You Love Without Going Broke. You can pre-order it at buywhatyoulovebook.com. And
Lucky guess.
Good guess. That's a good guess.
She goes to the mathematically probably correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. All right. You know what? We'll also include links in our show notes at stackingbenjamin.com. And thanks to Roger Whitney for hanging out with us today. You know, he has his own amazing podcast called The Retirement Answer Man, and you can find that wherever you listen to finer podcasts. And finally, thanks also to OG for joining us today. Looking for good financial planning help? Head to stackingbenjamins.com/OG for his calendar. This show is the property of SB Podcasts, LLC, copyright 2024, and is created by Joe Saul-Sehy. Joe gets help from a few of our neighborhood friends. You'll find out about our awesome team at stackingbenjamins.com, along with the show notes and how you can find us on YouTube and all the usual social media spots. Come say hello. Oh yeah, and before I go, not only should you not take advice from these nerds, don't take advice from people you don't know. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before making any financial decisions, speak with a real financial advisor. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and we'll see you next time back here at the Stacking Benjamin Show.